All right, today we're going to journey into the deserts of modern-day Jordan to uncover the incredible story of Petra. You've probably seen pictures of it, this breathtaking city carved directly into rose-red cliffs. It's a true marvel, and what's wild is that it was lost to the Western world for more than 1,000 years.
Back in 1812, a Swiss explorer named Johann Burckhardt really captured the feeling perfectly. I mean, can you just imagine the sheer astonishment, being the very first European in centuries to lay eyes on this hidden wonder? You can just feel his awe. He knew, right then and there, that he was looking at the remains of an incredibly rich and powerful civilization. And that really gets you thinking, right? It's the core question we're tackling today. Who were the master builders behind this architectural wonder? And maybe even more intriguing, how could a city so powerful just vanish and become nothing more than a legend? To get to the bottom of all this, we've got to start with the moment of its rediscovery. This is when the door to Petra's secrets was finally unlocked again for the rest of the world. This guy, Burckhardt, he was brilliant. He disguised himself as an Arab scholar, went by the name Sheikh Ibrahim, and he came up with this clever cover story. He said he wanted to make a sacrifice at a nearby tomb. His guide was hesitant, but eventually led him through this narrow, winding canyon. And as it opened up, Burckhardt realized the legends were true. He'd found it. He'd found Petra. Okay, so now that we know how it was found, let's jump way back in time and meet the ingenious people who actually built this place, the Nabateans. And their story, let me tell you, it's a masterclass in turning a harsh, unforgiving environment into a massive advantage. So, you gotta picture this. The Nabateans, they started out as these tough, nomadic tribes. They lived in tents, they knew the desert like the back of their hand. And at first, they used that knowledge to raid wealthy trade caravans. But then, they had a light bulb moment. Why raid the caravans when you can charge them for protection? And from there, it was a pretty short leap to controlling the whole shebang themselves. And just how tough were they? Well, in 312 BC, a Greek general, one of Alexander the Great's successors, mind you, sent this elite army to seize Petra's wealth. The Greeks stormed what they thought was an empty city. Big mistake. The Nabateans swept back in on 8,000 camels and, in a surprise night raid, completely annihilated the Greek force. What's really interesting, though, is they didn't actually want war. When a second Greek army was sent, the Nabateans basically just yelled down from their fortress saying, "Look, we don't want to fight. Here, take some gifts and just go home. You can't survive out here and we're not going to be conquered." They understood it was just better business to pay off your enemies than to fight them. Which brings up a pretty big question. How on earth does a nomadic desert tribe get rich enough to pay off entire armies? Well, their incredible wealth came from a source that smelled divine. Their fortune came down to these two substances, frankincense and myrrh. Now, these are basically hardened resins from special desert trees. When you burn them as incense, they produce this incredibly fragrant smoke that was in astronomically high demand all across the ancient world. Sometimes, this stuff was worth more than its weight in gold. So, why was it so priceless? Well, for a few key reasons. First, ancient cities, they were smelly. Incense was basically the original air freshener. It was also absolutely essential for religious ceremonies, creating that holy atmosphere in temples from Rome to Egypt. And on top of that, it was a symbol of royalty and was even used in medicine. This stuff wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. And the Nabateans controlled the overland routes for this incredibly valuable incense. Their price for safe passage? A jaw-dropping 25% tax on the value of every single thing that crossed their territory. They were the gatekeepers to one of the ancient world's most valuable commodities, and they were getting rich. So, with all this money pouring in, the Nabateans decided to build a permanent capital, one that was worthy of their newfound wealth. But they had one absolutely massive problem. Their home was a desert. There was almost no water. Their solution was, well, it was nothing short of an engineering miracle. They literally carved channels and aqueducts right into the cliffs to guide water. They built dams to catch the rare but powerful winter flash floods. Then they stored all that water in huge, waterproof cisterns, many of them hidden underground. And to top it all off, they created a citywide plumbing system with clay pipes. And the result of all this genius? They were able to support a population of 20,000 people at the city's peak. Just think about that for a second. A bustling metropolis, teeming with life, in a place that by all rights should have been completely uninhabitable. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Ancient writers like the geographer Strabo were just blown away. He didn't describe Petra as some barren outpost, but as a lush oasis with tons of springs, not just for drinking, but for watering gardens. They had built a man-made paradise. So, if everything was so perfect, what went wrong? How does a city go from that golden age of wealth and engineering to a ghost town? Well, it wasn't one single thing, but a series of devastating blows that brought this incredible civilization to its knees. First, in 106 AD, the Roman Empire, which was pretty much unstoppable, just absorbed their kingdom. Then, two major economic shifts hit them hard. Traders discovered more efficient sea routes, which meant they could bypass the expensive overland journey through Petra. At the same time, as Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, the demand for incense used in all those pagan rituals just plummeted. The city's main source of income, it was drying up. But the real knockout punch came in 363 AD. A massive earthquake rocked the entire region, destroying more than half the city. But most critically, it shattered their aqueducts, their dams, their pipes, the very engineering that made life there possible in the first place. The city's lifeline was broken. And just like that, Petra's fate was sealed. With its trade gone and its water supply crippled, the city slowly died. Its people left for other places, and the desert began to reclaim the magnificent city. The streets fell silent, and for the next 1,000 years, Petra became little more than a whisper, a legend told by the local tribes. The story of Petra is, well, it's a powerful reminder that even the greatest human achievements can be fragile. It really makes you think, doesn't it? If a city built on such incredible innovation and wealth could be brought down by shifting trade routes and a natural disaster, how permanent are our own great cities? It's something to think about.